How do you come up with ideas? Index Card Insights, episode 89. Thanks so much for hanging out with me, you guys. That's the topic today. How do you come up with ideas? My son gave me this topic idea. He said, Dad, how do you come up with ideas for your business? And I thought, that's a great topic. I told him some idea how I come up with some ideas. It was a great question because the internet it's really fueled by content. That's really the heart of the internet if you think about it. I mean, without fresh content all the time, the internet ceases to matter. But people are constantly coming up with fresh content, constantly putting stuff out there. And if you think about content, you need content to get people's attention, free content to get their attention. We sell them paid content in the form of hidden or fairly unknown information. We basically use content all the time in internet business, and then that's really everybody. Okay, that's everybody from Walmart to CVS to the local factory down the road that is trying to have some kind of an internet presence. To the solopreneur like me, or like maybe like you, who's just trying to make something happen. You're putting content out there to get people's attention, and you're selling them content, right? So we got two different kinds of content. We got paid and we got free, right? We got free and we got paid content. And to feed this beast of content hunger that is the internet, we're always coming up with ideas for content, for products, to feed that beast. Always, always. It's like a never ending thing. So yeah, so my son was asking me how I come up with ideas, ideas for products, ideas for live streams like this one, ideas for just anything involving you know putting something out there for people. And I thought it was a great question, and I thought I would share some of my answers with you guys today on Index Card Insights. So okay, so I got three insights for you, and then I got a bonus insight today. So stick around to the end because I got a bonus insight for you. All right. So again, if you're just now tuning in, how do you come up with ideas? Right. All right. Insight one: I Frankenstein ideas. All right. That's the first way I do it. I take two existing ideas and I mush them together. And the idea is that these two existing ideas, I can come up with something different, something new, something interesting, right? An easy way to do this, there's a lot of ways you can do this, but one example is like the Swiss Army knife, right? Look at the Swiss Army knife. What is it, man? A Swiss Army knife, it's a bunch of helpful little tools that have been combined together into this one apparatus that you can use for multiple things, right? But what is a Swiss Army knife? It's multiple ideas that were just combined into one thing. What's a way that you can do this? What's a way that you can do this? Well, one way you can do it is you can make a list of things from one part of your life. Like for me, example, one part of my life is my work life, right? What I do right here with you guys, my business. I can make a list of things associated with my business like this, right? Work stuff, email, social media, traffic. That's a list of three things. I forget that some of you guys are listening to this. You're not watching it because it's audio. Let me just hold on a second, guys. Trying to put myself on a timer so I don't go too long. I've been so bad about going too long on these podcasts. They're supposed to be a 10-minute show. I've been taking these things like 20, 30 minutes some nights. It's crazy. But anyways, so a list of work stuff, right? We're talking about Frankenstein and work stuff, email, social media, traffic. That's a list. A little three-thing list. You can put way more on there if you want to. Probably better if you put, 10 or 15 items from your thing. But we're doing quick here because I'm just trying to get through it, right? And here's a list of leisure stuff, things I do in my free time. These are things I'm interested in, right? Movies, philosophy, history. These are things I'm interested in. So on one list, I have email, social media, and traffic. And on the other list, I got movies, philosophy, history. Okay, well, I can see right now I could combine some of these ideas. Like maybe I could combine. I like email and any one of those things. I like pulling interesting email concepts from movies. Like I could take movies and I could teach email concepts from the movies, and that would be like an interesting idea. Or like social media and history. Like I could see like doing a I could see like doing like a report or like maybe a piece of free content on the history of some social media platform, and maybe even like combining that, twisting that into like traffic, like how maybe people used to get traffic from this platform, but how they get traffic today from this platform, how it's changed over the years, kind of thing, right? But the point is, I can take lists from two different areas of my life and I can try to just like combine them together, Frankenstein them together, basically. And when I do that, I can sometimes come up with interesting new ideas, right? That's pretty cool. So that's insight number one, Frankenstein. Insight number two, uh, unique position on known concepts. What do I mean by that? Unique position on known concepts. I mean, like, if you have a known concept like a taxi company, right? People know what taxi companies are. But if you can take a unique position on it, if you can see it in a different way, this can be a great idea. This is going to be a great way to come up with a new idea. For instance, Uber, right? People know what taxi companies are. Uber is basically a taxi company, but it's a new look on a taxi company, right? It's a unique position on a known idea. Another example of that would be Airbnb. Airbnb is disrupting the entire hotel industry right now. It's a unique position on a known idea, right? This concept of a unique position on a known idea is not new. It's been around for a long time. But and you can look back through history and see it over and over and over again. Industries being disrupted by unique positions on known ideas. You can look through in the cable industry even, but I'm not going to get too far into it. But the point is, um, you can find people coming up with a unique. It's not a unique idea, right? It's not a unique idea, guys. It's not necessarily a unique idea. It's a unique position on a known idea, right? A few years ago, I did a podcast. I don't know how many episodes. I think I did like 100 episodes on a podcast, and it was called the epicconversions.com podcast. And I said, I had this idea in my mind that when I got done with the podcast, when I did the whole first season, some people do season one. I say, okay, we're going to do a season two, or they don't even make seasons. They just say, hey, I'm just going to keep on doing this podcast infinitely until I get sick of it, and then I'll stop doing it. And then I'll have like 1,000 episodes of this podcast out there, right? Well, my idea was different. Like when I did the 100 episodes of the epicconversions.com podcast, I said, okay, I'm going to do 100 episodes. If this thing takes off and it's making me a bunch of money or whatever, or if it's doing well with attention, then I'll go ahead and I'll just keep on doing it. I'll do a season two. If it's not making me money and it's not really doing much for me, but it's still pretty cool, then I will pull it down and I will license it to other people. Now, that's what I did. I pulled it down and I licensed it to other people. But it's one thing to license it as like, hey, here's 100 podcast episodes. It's a known idea, like just it's a podcast episodes, right? But what I did was I pulled it down and I called it Guru in a Box, and it was 100 fun, entertaining, and educational audio lessons, right? 100 fun, entertaining audio lessons. You get PLR rights on all of them, right? So this is like a unique position on a known concept, right? It's different. So that's very, very powerful. It's very powerful. Just ask, like I said, just ask Airbnb, just ask Uber. Taking a unique position on a known concept can work like gangbusters, right? And that's good. It's something that like you're not always going to be able to do, right? Sometimes you don't have a unique position on a known concept. Unique positions on known concepts require creativity. They require eureka moments. They require you to see something a little bit differently than how everybody else sees it, right? And that's not always easy, right? But that is one of the ways that I come up with ideas, trying to think of things a little bit differently than other people, trying to think outside the box a little bit on things, right? That's another way to do it. So, like, what about number 3? Okay. My third insight, and this is a big one, okay? Use everything. I use everything, guys. Um, my family watches a bad movie. I think, how could I turn this into content, right? That's slice of life, man. If I talk about some movie we watched and how it relates back to business in some way, that's me talking slice of life now. I'm talking slice of life. Everybody can relate to that, right? Most things are attached to emotion. Okay, most things that happen to you in life, they're attached to some emotion, whether that's boredom, whether that's frustration, whether that's excitement, whether that's joy. Most things that happen to you in life are attached to some kind of emotion. So emotion is universal. It translates to your business as well. So uh, you can talk about that situation that happened to you, and talk about it from the standpoint of that emotion, and then kind of like circle it back around to business, if that makes sense. For example, oh, I had to go to the grocery store this morning. It was so tedious and boring. I hate going to the grocery store every week. I wish my wife would do it. Blah 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 blah. You know, it's boredom, it's tediousness, and I'm telling this story about how I hate going to the grocery store. I'm not trying to write the next great American novel here. I'm just trying to talk maybe a couple paragraphs about something that's boring to me or tedious to me, right? And then I'll segue it and I'll say, but the thing about this tediousness and this boredom of having to go to the grocery store every day is it kind of reminds me of some of the aspects of my online business. It kind of reminds me of this, right? And then you can say something like, maybe you can relate to what I'm saying, Maybe you can relate. Maybe you've experienced this tediousness in your online business. If so, you know what I'm talking about. Um, and you kind of relate, you segue it back. And then what you do is you segue that into a pitch. So basically, you got the story, this segues into a lesson, this segues into a pitch, right? So that's kind of an idea for free content. But use everything isn't just about free content. It can be about anything. It can be about paid content. It can be about anything. Um, the other, like, a few weeks ago, someone emailed me and said, Cam, I wish that you could do like a newsletter about, like alternative investments and commodities and stuff like that. There's no good PLR on that subject out there. And I said, yeah, man, that's really cool, but I don't really know anything about commodities and alternative investments. I know a little bit about stocks, but not really enough to take some kind of authoritative position on a report or something. Um, and that was cool. That was the end of the conversation. But then I thought about it. I thought, well, why don't I give it a shot? It's something different. It's something different. So I did. I gave it a shot, and I actually just wrapped up writing a whole newsletter about commodities and investing in commodities. But the way I did it was I took the position of the reporter. I took the position of someone who doesn't know anything about this subject, and I went on this like journey of discovery for a few weeks to learn about this subject. And as I was learning, I was taking notes, and the all my notes became the series of emails. And the series of emails is written from the position of a student, someone who's learning, and that's made very clear in all the emails. But the point is, that started with just someone writing me an email. That started with just someone writing me an email about something. Now I could have easily just said, "Hey, that's not my lane. That's cool, but I'm not going to do that. It's not my lane." Right? I could have done that. But if I have the paradigm, right? If I have the mindset of using everything, then I'm not going to do that. I'm going to try to find a way to use that. You know, that maybe it didn't have to be a whole newsletter. Maybe it just would have been a conversation on a live stream. Maybe it would have been an email I talked about it. Maybe it would have been a post I put on Facebook or something. But use everything, right? I'm using everything. I'm in this frame of mind of where I'm going to use whatever's at my disposal, whatever happens to me, I'm going to use it, man. I'm going to use it because when we talk about feeding the beast of content, it's never ending, right? It's never ending. It's always on to the next idea. It's always on to the next piece of free content, on to the next piece of paid content. It never stops, right? And if you can't come up with any ideas, then someone else behind you will. I mean, they're going to come up with some ideas, right? And if all your ideas are lame and boring because you get them all from like ChatGPT or something, then guess what? Someone else behind you who's more hungry, more ambitious, more ready to win is going to come in and take your spot. That's the way it is because it's competitive out there. So what I say is use everything. Slice of life, interesting ideas people give you by email, things you hear people talking about on social media, interesting movies you've seen. Can some of those concepts relate back to your business? Cool books that you've read, books that you've read that aren't cool. Anything, everything, use everything. That's one of my best insights I can give you is to use everything. Now, for a minute, I want to tell you about I got a bonus insight for you, okay? I got a bonus insight for you, but before I get into bonus insight, let me just remind everybody, if you want to find more information about me, check out epicconversions.com, okay? I got a membership program called ECIC Group Calls. We go deep into tips, strategies, and tactics every single week in ECIC Group Calls. If you want to spend some time with a professional marketer, check it out. You can find it over at epicconversions.com. Also, over at epicconversions.com, I got a free special report. It's called From 0 to 1244.86 in 96 hours. Brand new, completely free special report. If you don't get over there and get it, you got no one to blame but yourself, guys, because guess what? It ain't going to be there forever. I'm not just going to leave it up there forever. Anyways, guys, I got a bonus insight for you. But get over to epicconversions.com and check it out as soon as I am done with this show. All right, now look, guys, bonus insight. This is very valuable. All right, so listen up. This is the 1 equals 2. What does that mean? 1 equals 2. I'll tell you what it means. This is a mindset. This is a paradigm shift that I went through when it comes to content. Okay, for me, whenever I create a piece of content, whether it's a piece of free content or a piece of paid content, there's always a counterpart There's always a counterpart that is created, right? It's an option, right? If you're familiar with options and in the world of finance options, that you can buy options on things. Listen, so for me, when I create a piece of content, I also create an option, right? This show you're watching right now, episode 89 of Index Card Insights, right? This is a piece of free content, right? And it's about how to come up with ideas. However, later on tonight, I will be doing a group coaching call for my insiders for my ECIC group calls tonight. We'll be talking later on tonight. It'll be an extended conversation. It'll probably be about an hour and a half long. And what am I going to talk about? What's my topic? Well, first of all, I'm going to talk about whatever questions they ask me. If they have questions for me, I'll answer their questions. But I always come to the table with a topic. All right. So tonight, my topic is going to be this: how to come up with ideas, right? But it's going to be the extended version of this. It's going to be essentially the paid version of this, right? Because this topic can go far deeper, right? But the point is, and the concept I want you guys to understand is whenever you create a piece of free content, you always have the option of the paid content too, right? So you just have to ask yourself the question, what does the paid version of this content look like, right? Whenever you create a piece of paid content, you also create an option for a piece of free content. So essentially, when you create one thing, you're really creating two things. You're creating the thing, and you're creating the option, right? So 1 equals 2, all right? Now, that's awesome, and that's amazing, and the reason why is because you're outpacing everyone else. Everyone else is creating one piece of content, but every time you create a piece of content, you really create an option with it. It's a way of looking at things that's going to put you ahead. It's going to help you leverage your content to the max level leverage is what I'm talking about. 1 equals 2. It's very powerful. If you create a paid product, you can ask yourself very simply, what does the free version of this look like? Perhaps it's a couple of free things, you know? The free things lend themselves to promoting the paid thing. It's very congruent, right? When I create something paid, I can say, what does the free version of this look like? When I create something for free, I can say, what does the paid version of this look like? Right? Perhaps it's a little bit more in depth. Perhaps I add more to it. It's a brilliant concept. Okay, this idea of whenever you create a piece of content, you also create an option to create the other version of that content, whether it's paid or whether it's free. And this is how I feel, and this is how I look at content. And that really, really takes the pressure off to come up with new ideas, right? It helps you leverage what you've already done. So, anyways, guys, listen, that's it. If you like what I have to say, if you enjoy Index Card Insights, give me a comment, give me a thumbs up. Email me, camjenningspro@gmail.com. Let me know you love my show. If you want to spend more time with me, check me out over epicconversions.com. I got free stuff. I got paid stuff over there. Check it out. Thanks so much. And I'll see you guys in the next episode of Index Card Insights. That'll be next Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. That's when we come out. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. The only reason I'm here right now is because I was a day late. I was a day late. But normally, guys, Index Card Insights happens on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. We're counting down from 100. This is episode 89. Next week, it's going to be episode 88, episode 87, and episode 86, right? Why am I counting down? Because this show's different. We do things differently around here, okay? And if you want to win on the internet, you need to figure out how to do things a little bit differently, all right? That's all I got. Thanks so much, guys, and I'll see you in the next episode of Index Card Insights. Peace, you guys.